Manafort was convicted by a jury last August of 5 counts of tax fraud, 2 counts of bank fraud and 1 count of failing to disclose foreign bank accounts. Ellis disregarded federal sentencing guidelines cited by prosecutors that called for 19-1/2 to 24 years in prison. The judge ordered Manafort to pay a fine of $50,000 and restitution of just over $24 million. Manafort, brought into the courtroom in a wheelchair because of a condition called gout, listened during the hearing as Ellis extolled his otherwise blameless life in which he earned the admiration of a number of people and engaged in a lot of good things. Clearly the guidelines were way out of whack on this, Ellis said. Manafort was convicted after prosecutors accused him of hiding from the U.S. government millions of dollars he earned as a consultant for Ukraine's former pro-Russia government. After pro-Kremlin Ukrainian President Viktor Yanukovych's ouster, prosecutors said, Manafort lied to banks to secure loans and maintain an opulent lifestyle with luxurious homes, designer suits and even a $15,000 ostrich skin jacket. The judge also said Manafort is not before the court for any allegations that he, or anyone at his direction, colluded with the Russian government to influence the 2016 election. The sentence was even less than the sentence recommended by Manafort's lawyers of 4-1/4 to 5-1/4 years in prison. These are serious crimes, we understand that, said Thomas Zenel, one of Manafort's lawyers. Tax evasion is by no means jaywalking. But it's not narcotics trafficking. Legal experts expressed surprise over the sentence. This is a tremendous defeat for the special counsel's office, former federal prosecutor David Weinstein said. Manafort's sentence was less than half of what people who plead guilty and cooperate with the government typically get in similar cases, according to Mark Allenbaugh, a former attorney with the U.S. Sentencing Commission. Very shocking, he said. Manafort's legal troubles are not over. He faces sentencing next Wednesday in Washington in a separate case for 2 conspiracy charges involving lobbying and money laundering to which he pleaded guilty last September. In shambles before the sentencing, Manafort expressed no remorse but talked about how the case had been difficult for him and his family. Manafort, who opted not to testify during his trial, told Ellis that to say I have been humiliated and ashamed would be a gross understatement. He described his life as professionally and financially in shambles. The judge told Manafort, I was surprised I did not hear you express regret for engaging in wrongful conduct. During a break shortly before the sentence was handed down, Manafort turned around and blew his wife, Kathleen, a kiss. Ellis had faced criticism by some in the legal community for comments he made during the trial that were widely interpreted as biased against the prosecution. Ellis repeatedly interrupted prosecutors, told them to stop using the word oligarch to describe people associated with Manafort because it made him seem despicable, and objected to pictures of Manafort's luxury items they planned to show jurors. It isn't a crime to have a lot of money and be profligate in your spending, Ellis told prosecutors during the trial. Prosecutor Greg Andres urged Ellis to impose a steep sentence. This case must stand as a beacon to others that this conduct cannot be accepted, Andres told the hearing on Thursday. Jackson ruled on February 13 that Manafort had breached his agreement to cooperate with Mueller's office by lying to prosecutors about 3 matters pertinent to the Russia probe, including his interactions with a business partner they have said has ties to Russian intelligence. Trump, a Republican who has called Mueller's investigation a politically motivated witch hunt, has not ruled out giving Manafort a presidential pardon, saying in November, I wouldn't take it off the table. There's absolutely no evidence that Paul Manafort was involved with any collusion with any government official from Russia, Kevin Downing, another Manafort lawyer, said outside the courthouse. Mueller is preparing to submit to U.S. Attorney General William Barr a report on his investigation into whether Trump's campaign conspired with Russia and whether Trump has unlawfully sought to obstruct the probe. Trump has denied collusion and obstruction, and Russia has denied U.S. intelligence findings that it interfered in the 2016 election in an effort to boost Trump. Manafort worked for Trump's campaign for 5 pivotal months in 2016 that included the Republican National Convention where Trump accepted the Republican presidential nomination, 3 of them as campaign chairman.